Where did we first meet?
I think officially we met here at your office.
Okay, I felt
at
that
one
too,
of
but I
your
didn't-
events.
Was it the Halloween one?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. No, maybe the Christmas one.
Maybe Christmas.
Yeah,
Or Cars and
Cars.
Collabs.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it
yeah.
was. Because I was
That's
like,
where
I don't
we
remember having
officially
paint.
met. I've seen you all over town. Obviously, your image is everywhere.
Thank you.
But I think we first ran into each other at the gym, LVAC, when I first moved out here. I was like, who is that guy? You know, he looks like he's got some stuff going on. And I started seeing your billboards, and I drove by the office. I'm like, okay. And then I started hearing your name in the real estate world. So I was like, that's the guy I need to meet.
Did we ever conversate at the gym? Like a quick hello?
Yeah.
I felt like that too.
Yeah, but nothing, crazy.
Because you have like this incredibly familiar face. But now I think it's making sense because those gym accomplices, not accomplices, like acquaintances.
Sure.
Their face like will burn into your memory. You could be at a stoplight, look to your left, and be like, I know that guy.
Right. Yeah.
You know, never talk to him
all
ever.
the time.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we met. So I was like, was there a different time? So yes, that is exactly that makes sense, and that is how I recall it too.
Yeah, when I first moved out here, I moved to Vegas about 3.5 years ago. Always been in sales, but my number one goal when I moved here was to get in the gym. You know, go to a gym where people go. I moved to Summerlin, so I was like, I'll check out this LVAC here. And I did, and I met a lot of people that helped me build my network. So that's something big for me is networking in person. Yeah. Right. You can do so much online, but, if people don't know you in your town or know you in your community, your name's not going to get out there as much. So a lot of people that I partnered with in business, in sales, the different sales organizations that I run, I met a lot of them through the gym.
That's great.
Just like where I ran into you. So
something that I recently, it's a little bit off topic, but I think it's important to touch on. I got a shout out on Instagram where the guy came on and was like, hey, you got to listen to this podcast. Josh interviews entrepreneurial mindset individuals that are normal people. And I think that is like so spot on, right? And I love it, and that is what I want to accomplish. So here we are again.
That's it.
Because I think it's sheer entertainment to listen to, some of these big figures. Like let's just call it Grant Cardone, or the shredded dude that's always screaming at you, the bald guy,
Andy Elliott.
Yeah, these are great guys that are motivating.
He's a great guy. Yeah,
but some of this, what they're doing in their lives is so incredibly advanced that an average guy looking to move up the chain, there's no way to relate. The gap's too big.
Exactly.
And so I love that. Like I perceive myself as a Joe. That is just maybe a few ticks up the ladder, but not so far up that people can't get there. So I love that we're doing that again. I heard now knowing that you're in sales and then hearing how you injected yourself into, I guess, the Vegas society. Because where'd you move from?
So I was in LA for 5 years, but during the pandemic, we moved to Virginia briefly for like 6 months, had our son out there, then came to Vegas.
So where are you originally from?
Originally South Carolina. Yeah.
My goodness, this is going to be a memory test.
I've kind of been all over the place. So originally South Carolina.
Okay.
Moved to New York City when I was 19.
By choice?
Yeah.
Like moved out, said I'm going to New York?
Yeah, dropped out of college. Was like, I'm going to go be a model and actor,
I could see that on you.
Live in the big city. So went out there, did none of that, just partied a lot, had a lot of fun. Then moved to LA because that was my dream, was to always be on the West Coast. In California and LA, living that dream. Moved there, got really good into sales. And then, after being there 5 years, and then COVID happening and with the riots and the craziness of all that, we decided, we'll go to Vegas, we'll start off there, and then, see where it takes us.
So when COVID hit out there, that price, with the way they shut that place down, that probably scared the shit out of you.
Exactly.
Because I think where you were at is how you probably inherited the severity of the situation. Like in Utah, they were like,
right.
No, man, I remember driving across going to Bryan Head, and I'd walk into the gas station with the mask on and be like, oh, man. And they were like looking at me. Then you go to L.A., and if you're on the sidewalk, people were like literally jumping off the sidewalk to get away from you.
Yeah, luckily we left before it got that bad.
Before it got real crazy.
Yeah, so it was good for us. I did like a major reset in my life when I had my son. This was 4.5 years ago now. So I got off of social media for a while and just kind of focused on, okay, you know, I have a kid now. What am I going to do? What am I going to leave a legacy? You know, what am I going to create? What's my next goal? And it came down to sales. I'd always done sales in my life. So I was like, I got to get serious. You know, I was only 26 at the time when I had my son. So I was still fairly young, but I knew, you know, there was so much time in my life where I was just messing around, partying, having fun. And it came down to me really becoming accountable and being responsible for another human being. Yeah. Where I had that mindset switch to where I was like, okay, I'm getting focused.
I love it.
And that's where I literally visioned myself moving to Vegas, meeting the right people, creating businesses, and networking and getting back into social media. And that's what I've been doing. So
beautiful, man. Yeah. Way to make it all happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really believe in manifestation, you know, and truly, you know, if you can see it in your brain, you know, before you do it, obviously you have to act, but, you know, there has to be that original vision.
Absolutely.
So I saw it, and it's just crazy because my number one goal was to go to a gym where people go to, and that's what I did.
I love that you're vocalizing how intentional you were with the gym. My sister moved to L.A. She lived in L.A., went to college, came back to Vegas, was here for about 10 years, moved back to L.A. I told her the first thing you should do is go to the gym.
Yeah.
And make sure, and then I tell other people this when they're like trying to find friend groups or whatever it is. I'm like, go to the gym, but more importantly, go to the gym at the exact same time every day.
Yep.
And if you are finding people just on a visual level that you can vibe with, like if you and I just seen each other, we'd be like, I could kick it with that dude.
Yeah,
like we would know.
Sure.
Then keep going at that time. If you observe and you don't see the crowd you want to vibe with, then switch times.
Right.
And keep switching times so you find the vibe, and then go at that time every day for like 6 months. And before you know it, you'll have a sphere of influence that you want to be around, that are like-minded, that are focused on health, that are excited about life. And that's funny, a great. I just love that you started with that.
It's funny you said the same time thing, because my time was like 9 to 11, and I didn't choose that time specifically, but I'm glad that I went at that time, because normally, you know, what are most people doing 9 to 11? They're at their jobs.
Yeah,
right?
not
Most
at the gym.
9 to 5 people, they're at their jobs. So for me, it was like that time got me around entrepreneurs, business owners, people that didn't have to be at work at 9 o'clock, people that didn't have to go work for someone else, right? People that were doing their own thing. You know?
Isn't that a funny observation?
Yeah.
You know, with all due respect to everybody that works, because we need every single person in society to work to make society run. I bet the guys from 6 to 8, you know, they got to get in early to shuffle off to their gig. And then, the guys from 9, I'm a 6 a.m. to 8:30 guy.
Right.
And that's just what my body needs that day, is how I judge that. Do I need to sleep an extra hour?
Right.
Do I not need, did I pop up super early?
What time do you wake up?
On average, I wake up between like 5:30 and 6:45. Okay. Every day. No alarm clock.
You go straight to the gym? Or?
Straight to the gym. No messing around.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I have a little routine.
Right.
If I may.
Yeah.
I wake up. Thankfully, the wife's still asleep. The kids are still asleep. So I get like this moment of just me time.
The golden hour.
Yeah. That's what people define it as that. And I'll go. I have 2 chairs. It's either next to my slider that allows me to look outside, or I go into the bathroom where I've got like a chair like this. And I sit and I get caught up on news and articles, and I get my brain going, and then I get dressed and sneak out before anybody wakes up.
Nice.
So it's like undisturbed, get rolling experience in the morning. And then what I like about the gym, which is why I mean, it's so funny that we're talking about the gym, and I think how important it is to
super important.
The journey.
Yeah.
Is I get to the gym, maybe a little groggy or a little tired or waking up still, and I start with my pre-workout, and it's a good morning to the guy that checks you in, right? Now I'm getting started.
Right.
Then it's a good morning, hey Rosa, how you doing, at the juice bar. And then I walk into the locker room, which you got to get a VIP locker.
Yeah.
Have you seen those in the back?
Yeah.
They're $350 a year.
Right,
it's $28 a month.
Yeah.
And that's where I met so many quality people. Anyway, then you walk back there, and then you run into people you see. Then it's a little conversation. Then you get it in. By the time, my point is by the time you hit the office, you're 100 miles an hour.
You've stacked all these wins already.
Yes,
You know.
Yes.
You've had interactions. You're talking with people already. And
Your
that's
brain
the key,
stimulated.
You know? In the morning, you have to stack the wins. I have a video on it that I recently posted about my morning routines. How, you know, other people's morning routines won't make you rich, but it's what you do in the morning to stack those small wins so that you can win your morning, right? So when you hit the office, you hit your work, whatever your work is, you know, you're ready for it. So I truly value gym first thing in the morning too. My schedule has been a little later for me. I've been hitting the gym around 8:30. You know, I wake up pretty early around 5:30 or 6. You know, I do my morning routine stuff with, you know, my reading, my journaling, prayer, stuff like that. But then I get my son up, you know, and I help him with his breakfast and stuff before he goes on his day. Then I go to the gym.
How old's the kid?
He's 4.5.
4.5. What's his name?
Ashton.
Ashton?
Yeah.
All right. I like that name.
Yeah.
I have
he's really cool. He's like my mini-me. He golfs. He, you know, he loves the ocean. We're about to get him snowboarding. So
snowboard. Has he done it yet?
Not yet. No.
Okay. All of my kids either ski or snowboard as of this last season.
Nice.
And a few seasons before it was one or two. Obviously, at one point, only one.
Right.
But this year, I got the whole Galindo family on skis and snowboard, and we all could, you know, work our way down. So without the training, without this, I will tell you, and I will tell everybody listening, it's probably one of the most fulfilling things to do with your kids, because, you know, how long can you sit down and play cars with Ashton?
Right.
You know, if you're pushing hard 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But to be able to do something with your children for 3, 4, 5 hours, is like so cool. And to watch them like challenge themselves and fall and get up and, you know, click back in. Anyway, so I love that you're aiming that direction.
Well, that's the thing, you know, as fathers, we really, you know, encourage our children to take risk and, you know, if they fall, to get back up, right? My son just about 2 months ago got down where he can ride his bike without training wheels. You know, he can start and stop, he can push himself off, and now we take bike rides, you know, around the neighborhood and stuff. And it's just, that's the bonding moment that I have, like you on the mountain with your kids. It's like, I can actually go on a bike ride with my son now. You know, before,
see something you could do for a long time.
Yeah, you know, before it's like, you're right, you know, you only have these activities that, you know, you could only do for 15, 20, 30 minutes. But, you know, once they get older and they learn how to do more things, they take more risk. It's just super exciting.
I want to capitalize on what I picked up from what you just said there, is that you push your children in the challenge.
Yep.
And I would say that I think that that's the opposite of how a lot of people are parenting nowadays.
Sure.
It's the opposite. They are observing constantly for challenge and then redirecting their child away from it.
Right.
And I think that's a total disjustice. I think while we can have control of their environment, why not push them into challenge?
Yeah.
You know, we'll make sure that they're not going to slice their hand off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like go. Let's see.
Right.
You know, I'm here to make sure it goes good.
Right.
But please.
And I feel like as leaders, you know, in anything, whether you're leading your kids, you're leading your office, you're leading, you know, people on social media, you have to encourage people to become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. You know, there's a society of a lot of soft people right now because they don't know how to handle stress or anxiety, or when things come their way, they kind of just give in, or they hide, or they, you know, numb themselves with, you know, drugs, alcohol, entertainment, you know, whatever it is. And like you said, it's the same with the parents that, you know, their kid, you know, starts crying or is being bad at dinner, right? They redirect them to an iPad or to, you know, a phone in front of their face, or to something to keep them distracted instead of, you know, hitting that situation head on.
Sure.
And teaching them how to move through that situation. You know, it's the same way within business. You know, if you have people that work for you, right? If they're constantly hitting these situations where they don't know how to act, you know, as a leader, it's your job to show them, hey, you know, you can push through this moment by doing this or doing this instead of just retreating, right?
Great point. I'm going to ask you a question on that. I love how in tune you are. I mean, how old are you now? You said
31.
31.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Just a lot of experience in life, you know. A lot
That's
of
what I
bad
tell
times,
people. Yeah,
you know?
people are like, oh, you know, how many books do you read, or you know, I'm like, I just kind of been through a lot of shit.
Right, same.
And I'll own it.
Right.
I put myself in all of those positions. It's not like I came from this incredibly broken family and I had to figure out how to steal hot dogs, you know, when I was 8.
Yeah.
Like I was just that not awkward, that ambitious kid that put himself in positions to have to figure out how to get out of those positions.
Same. I was a troublemaker.
Yeah,
I got
kind
a
of a
lot
troublemaker.
of trouble. Dude, so much trouble. Been arrested before. Like, the story's very long. We can get into it one day, but, you know, I learned, you know, how to get out of trouble, how to persuade and influence people into, you know, believing my side of the story. But just through travel and, you know, meeting tons and tons of people and kind of figuring out my path, I've learned a lot, you know, and the main thing is I'm not afraid of who I am. I'm not afraid of taking action and taking those risks. And I think that's what has caused me to reach some level of success. You know, I'm nowhere where I want to be, but I'm definitely growing daily. It's because of the past experience that I put myself into.
Totally, man.
You know, like you said, I'm 100% responsible for where I am at today.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I should be here. I'm only like right here, but it's because of, you know, my past and what I've done to get to this point.
I'm a big believer in that. I said, don't blame your parents for failing and don't give them any credit for succeeding.
Yeah.
It's all me. Right. If I'm winning, it's because of me. Right. If I'm failing, it's because of me.
Exactly.
You know.
And you know, I feel like that's most leaders. They have that mindset. You know, when you when you first started seeing success with your businesses and, you know, started leading other people, you know, what was the main thing that you saw that changed in your life that allowed you to be in that position?
A lot of when I started to see, you know, so really it was when I started to see people believing in the vision. One, it's very important, I think, to be conscious that they're believing in the vision because of the results you're creating.
Right.
The talking head is all bullshit, and it may not get exposed right away. There, you know, in time that it'll become exposed. But you might be able to get away with just saying all these things and saying the right things and people believing in you. But at some point they're going to lift the sheet up and go, is this real? And so I believe on accident, not intentionally, I went the other direction. I went out and created a ton of results to satisfy my own ambitions. Right. It had nothing to do with trying to create this image or role of leadership. You know, my intentions to build were not to get people to follow. It was to benefit me. And it was, if you really go super deep, it was probably to convince myself that I wasn't the loser that I thought that I was when I was a kid, or that I wasn't stupid like I constantly told myself when I was a kid. And a lot of those self-limiting beliefs have been reversed because of the results I created, because all I got to do is look at my results and go, well, you're obviously not very stupid.
Exactly.
You know, now I believe I'm actually very intelligent. But there was a long time as a youth and an older teen where I legitimately thought that I was dumb. And I'll tell you, actually, one of the stories where, not dumb, just wasn't very scholastically intelligent.
Sure.
I took my real estate exam, and it took me 6 times to pass the test.
Wow.
And I was like, man, you know, this is very fitting for who I am, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep pushing. But this is me. I'm just not good at this stuff. And then, you know, fast forward 5, 6, 7 years later, I can't tell you the exact year, but I went to go get my broker's exam. And I was like prepared for the failure, set myself up emotionally to be ready in case I failed and to keep persevering like I always did. And I walked in there, I fucking passed it on the first run.
Nice.
And I was like, it was a personal development moment where I was like, you know what? I think that's the old me. It's not. I am intelligent. I do know what I'm talking about.
Well, it's like you said, you know, what I caught from that was, you know, it's about your identity, right? For your childhood and like up in your teens, you kind of told yourself, you know, I might not be as smart as other people or scholastically smart, but your identity switched when you stuck to it. You kept, you know, going after it the 6th time you finally passed. You were like, okay, you know, I can work harder. You know, even if I lack in smarts, I can make up for with skill set and work and, you know, what you're learning. So I definitely believe that. You know, another thing I caught that you said was, you know, people that are high performers, right? Most of them have self-doubt tendencies in their past where they're trying to prove something to themselves.
Yeah.
More or less, it's like they don't care, like you said, what people think of them. They care what they think of themselves.
Absolutely.
And that's the same with me. It's like I don't necessarily care what anybody else thinks of me, but to me, it's like me versus me every day. You know, I'm literally trying to like outperform.
That's a
myself
goosebump
from
moment because
yesterday.
that's so spot on.
Yeah. And I was talking with a group earlier today before I got here, you know, about the same thing. Like, it's not about this image or persona that you're, you know, putting out there online or, you know, that people see you as. It's really about what you practice in private, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you practice in private will get praised publicly.
Sure.
Right. And, you know, someone told me this morning Steph Curry takes like 500 shots a day, something like that.
Yeah.
And we've only seen, like, he's done like 2 million or something shots over his like career, but we've only seen like 15,000 of them. So that's only like 1% of the total shots he's taken.
Totally.
So it's like, you know, you can do all this stuff online, you know, but real people see the results and see the fruit that you bear. And that's what would bring people to support you.
That was, there you go. And you kind of finished my answer to your question. Is that's exactly what happened. Is the results just started popping up very quickly. And I remember my buddy came over and he's like, dude, how did you, in the term he used, I hate to repeat the term, but he goes, how'd you get rich so fast?
Yeah. Fast.
I almost slid out of my chair and just laid on the ground. I was like,
was this a friend that knew you for a while?
Kind of. He came into my life as things were getting, you know, as things were picking up. But in my mind, I'm like, bro, what people don't get is I've been licensed since 2005.
Yeah.
You know, and I struggled through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I kind of caught a little wind in 12.
Wow.
And then really took off in 15. You know, it's like, and then that was probably around that time, 2015, 16, we're sitting in the backyard and he's like, dude, how did this all happen so fast? I'm like, fast, bro. I've been digging this hole since 2005.
Wow.
I just now hit gold, you know, and I haven't even had to hit the big part of the gold. I could just see a little sliver of it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's all about what I had been doing. And then what I believe about success is that it takes you five years to figure out how to just not be a dummy and a pinball in a pinball machine. And then once you figure that out, then you can apply all of your lessons, skills, and new tools that you've arguably mastered for the next 5 years. That's why if you really look at a lot of successful people, you would look at them and go, you know, a lot of my success, I'll speak for myself, has come in the last 6 years.
Sure.
But that's when it came. I built that foundation from the previous 12 years. And so I think that's an important thing to talk about. Like, this journey is an 18-year journey. It's easy to just be like, oh, man, Josh is everywhere. This is 18 years of working every day with the same vision and putting energy and time and effort and risk and behind that vision and making it a reality.
Let me ask you this. Your vision, did you see it to be what it is now?
People ask that question a lot, and I wonder if it's because it's I hate to say cliche question because I'm not trying to discount your question, but it's an easy question to ask. I got asked it on the grand opening of our very, very first space. A marketing rep came here and said, did you ever think this was going to happen? And at the moment, I wanted to respond with a cliche answer and be like, oh my God, no, I can't believe it. And then I thought about it because I like to answer questions honestly. And I said, fuck yeah, I saw this.
Exactly.
Abso-fucking-lutely. I saw every fucking thing that I did. Yeah. How do you think I got here? I had to figure out where I was going first, you know? And so what's becoming a challenge as an entrepreneur, I'll be honest, at the phase I'm at in my current journey is I saw all of this and now I'm having to build a new vision, because I'm kind of like, okay, I kind of got everything I've ever saw myself wanting to have on every aspect of life: health, relationship, family, materialistic things, business. Like, I'm literally kind of tapped out. Okay, well, what's next? And what I ended up learning on that journey is that I need more cash flow because cash flow creates time. So you and I could go right now and go 50-50 on a sick jet. Not a jet. Let's call it like a dual prop plane. Yeah. And the reality is the three of us here could do that.
Right.
I know we could literally, physically, financially do it right now. Okay. And then the three of us could probably go in on a $1.5 million condo in Dana Point. Okay. And split the payment between the three of us on the plane and the Dana Point place.
Right.
And we're 5 minutes from the beach. When would we ever use it?
Yeah. Right.
Right? When would we ever when would we ever use it?
Because we're busy.
We'd be busy.
Yeah.
So how do you put yourself in a position to enjoy more of life? You got to have more cash flow so that you could buy back time.
Right.
So that's where I think I'm at in this journey. It's kind of, unfortunately, it's this kind of stuck journey with a lot of behind the scenes moving, that I'm like trying to figure out how to get more time. And the only way that I believe to get more time is to buy it back.
For sure.
And or make more cash flow, increase my cash flow so that I could go do more stuff.
There's a good book called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. I actually met him at a conference about a month or two ago. You should check that out too. He kind of speaks on that, where, building businesses, you got a lot of stuff going on. You kind of have to be present for.
Yeah.
So, even though you're good in all walks of life, it's still like, with all this stuff going on, you still, have to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You're the face of everything.
Yeah.
So it's like buying back your time is the real goal, because it's like, like you said, you could have all the money in the world, but, what are you going to spend it on? What trips could you take if you have to be somewhere?
Right.
So, what you said earlier also is you're looking at the next goal. Someone told it to me like this, you're climbing a mountain, right? That's your goal, is to reach the top of this mountain. Before you even hit the top of that mountain, you're already looking at the next peak, right?
Sure.
You're already looking at the next mountain. Like, okay, once I hit this one, I got to climb that one.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what I've implemented in my life is, I have this goal, but before I even reach that goal, I want to have another bigger goal. And for me, it's like to keep building in business, to keep networking, meeting more people. For me, I feel personal brand is huge.
Sure.
Because it creates so much opportunity. We can, build businesses and sales organizations and bring people together all day, and it comes from the personal brands that we've created online too, and in public, right, in the communities. So,
and those two have to match.
Exactly.
How many people have you ran into where they will comment on this person in the social media space and say, man, this person shows up this way, but I met him in real life and he shows up this way?
Tons of times, yeah.
So Taylor, tell me what is your journey looking like? What are you doing daily? What is this? How are you what do you do to make money?
So I have a solar company, Clean Energy Pros. So right now I have a few branches nationwide, a few here in Nevada, just about to launch one in South Carolina too. That's where I'm from. I got a business partner out there. But my day-to-day right now, doing some real estate investing. I'm getting a little bit more into that. I've learned, I know Ryan Pineda. I've learned some stuff from him, kind of getting into that community. But my day-to-day, I wake up early, hit the gym, then I do my business stuff with my solar company. So we've got a team right now, about 20 to 25 guys out there, knocking doors, referral based. We actually have leads coming in too. So that keeps me very busy.
May I dissect that a little bit? Are you, managing the door knocking team, managing?
So I'm the owner of the company.
So now do you have to manage each piece of that?
So we have managers too. They manage the door knocking and stuff too. For me, I just kind of lead by example. I still go out there and close deals.
Nice.
If a new guy wants to knock with me, I'll go knock with him. That's how I started
in
the door-to-door space, was knocking doors. So, it's what got me good at communication, thinking quickly, objective handling, was door knocking. So I don't down it at all. I actually really respect it. And it's an industry that's, people don't really know a lot about, and they most likely don't even want to know about it because it's, most people think of the door knocker as someone that's an annoyance, so
sure.
It's like, but that's the thing that changed my life was
door knocking.
It was door knocking, know? So yeah, for me, I'm still very active in the business. So, I have a flexible schedule, but I still devote 5 to 7 hours a day just in that line of work. Yeah.
So you have to like take into account when someone brings a lead in, somebody follows up with the lead, someone secures the lead, and then once the lead's secured, my understanding in that space is now it's type of financing, cash, lease, finance, and then once that's approved, then you got to coordinate. I assume you got to coordinate the install.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's the whole way.
Yep. So I'm partnered with a local installer here. So it's pretty much in-house. You know, we're directly connected to them. So whatever product that we're selling at the time is directly connected to the installer. So for me, as the sales force, it's not as there's not that much responsibility for me per se to deal with the installation side, because I let the installation side deal with that. I deal with the sales, which I'm really good at. My expertise is, bringing in somebody new that has no clue about sales, that has no clue about how to speak to people, and I like to train them and teach them, what somebody taught me. I'm just passing along the knowledge.
I love that.
And that's what I love, like my podcast, Sales is Life. It talks about how, everyday life, you're selling something. Sales is in every aspect of our lives.
Absolutely.
Whether you're selling, this woman to want to marry you, or, if you're younger, this girl to date you, or selling your friends on the idea of going to this restaurant, or, selling someone on choosing this sports team over that sports team, you're always selling.
Absolutely.
So I want to make sales as relatable as possible to people. Not only is it the highest paying industry, in the world, but just to become better at sales, you're going to become a better person.
Agreed. I think because in sales, the core of that is the ability to communicate.
Correct.
The ability to communicate enhances any human being.
Correct.
And sales is unlimited. Mm-hmm. It's limitless, the amount of income that you can make.
Yeah. Were you, when you first got into real estate, were you good at like naturally communicating with people, or is that something you had to work at?
So I learned techniques. I've always been a confident kid. And I think there's a difference between confidence and self-esteem and self-limiting beliefs and all the other baggage that comes with a human. But I think I've always been confident. And I think the confidence came from my willingness and my mother's encouragement to go and take challenge.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you can instill confidence early in a child, is that the parent pushes them to go and embrace challenge. Right. And then obviously I learned how to go embrace challenge naturally on my own in a safe way.
Right.
And so I was always confident. And with confidence, I think, comes the ability to communicate and get out there and learn, okay, that didn't go my way. Right. I probably won't talk that again. Or everybody listened on that one. And so I honed my communication skills, starting off with being confident enough to go out and talk to people.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
And then obviously getting myself in so much trouble when I was young, I went to a school that really honed in the understanding of how my mind worked, of how all of it can be changed, controlled, and understood. And so through that experience from 16 to 17 and a half, I learned how to really communicate.
Nice.
And then with that ambition, that confidence, and the ability to communicate, and the desire to create, which is what I believe is my core driver, is I love to just create. My mom calls it a builder gene, where I just have to, like, if you and I went into a cabin in the middle of the forest with no Wi-Fi and no power, I could guarantee you within an hour, you and I are outside building an igloo, building a, we'd be out there building. We couldn't just sit there and read a book. And not that we couldn't do that, but I would assume you and I would opt to go and build, okay, or create. So the desire to create made it so that I wanted to be in business for myself, and or at least have some level of control over my income. And then that's where that journey starts. The more business I did, the more people I had to interact with. The more people I interacted with, the more I learned about myself, how to talk, and I would even argue I'm not a salesman. Mm-hmm. I will own that I'm charismatic. I'm persuasive. But I'm not a salesman. And I think that because a salesman is it's like saying I can run a marathon, And so I could be a SEAL Team 6
Right,
guy.
yeah,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
exactly,
It's like, no. That dude is a trained killer.
Yeah.
You may be able to run a marathon with that guy, but
Right.
if you were in his shoes, you wouldn't be able to do
Right.
it. And I will own that I'm not a salesman, because there's skills to being a salesman. You know, you guys know how to respond strategically with the proper terminology, the proper, you know, redirect conversation, absorb objections and counter them appropriately, and not sound like, you know, you're hurting anybody, and blah blah blah. So that I wouldn't say but I am convincing, because whatever I am talking about, generally speaking, I believe in it.
Correct.
And often people will be like,
part.
"Oh, Josh easily is a salesman. Look at him; he's charismatic. He can talk." It's like, no. There's a whole nother thing there, man. You guys are skilled dudes.
Yeah, and I like what you said. You know, it's all about belief, right? In sales, you know, you have to believe in the product, right? But another thing I want to take it back to is what you mentioned about confidence, right? So, you know, the hardest part in my business is bringing on someone that's new that might not have that much confidence in themselves. And it's like, how do you teach someone confidence, right? I'm sure you've seen it in your business as well, where you have someone new come on and, you know, they're hungry, they're ambitious, but they don't have the confidence. Do you think confidence is something that you could teach? Do you think it's a skill set you can build on, or do you think it's a gift that most people don't have and some do?
No, I think confidence can be obtained, and I think it could be grown.
Gotcha.
I think it can be built, obtained, grown, whatever word it is. So basically what I'm saying is that you could take a very low generally speaking, in my opinion, accomplishment equals confidence. The more you accomplish, the more confidence you have. You know, yes. So to me, if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I have all the drive inside me. I want to win."
Sure.
But I get afraid when I have to go out and be exposed or vulnerable. To me, that's a lack of confidence. And the way that I would challenge that person is I would start with that's why I was like gravitated so strongly to your gym statement.
Yep.
I would look at him and go, "Wake up and go to the gym."
Yeah, exactly.
Wake up and go to the gym, because it's hard. It's not always what you want to do. The byproduct of going to the gym is we look good. I don't go to the gym to look good. If that was my only focus, I would be shredded.
Yeah.
I would be.
Right.
I would go, my intentions in being here are to be shredded. And so then I would do all the other things that would require. I go to the gym for 100 reasons, and the byproduct is that it spits out that I at least look like I go to the gym or care about what I look like. But so I would start with that, go to the gym, do something difficult. And then the next thing I would do is probably down your road. I would say, go knock on a door. I remember my first cold call. Oh my gosh, I was fucking sweating. I was anxious. And, you know, and then a very kind gentleman named Scott Weber, I'll give him some credit, sat next to me and say this, say that, you know? And I did it. And when I hung up, I was like, wow, that was like exhilarating, you know, and that was accomplishment. And now I knew I could conquer that. And then you just keep accomplishing, and then you keep growing.
And that's
confidence.
huge what you said, you know, when you mentioned Scott, the guy that helped you. You know, another thing for the newest reps or the newest people in your organization is to latch onto a mentor or an accountability partner, somebody that will, you know, be there for them when they fall and help them, you know, to make it to the next step. So, you know, to you, how important is mentorship? You know, do you have any current mentors? You know, for me, I at least have like 3 to 5 at a time. So
I don't have any currently. I always have people that I am looking up to and emulating the positives in their life.
I feel like you always have to have that person that might be a few steps ahead of you or somewhere, you know, on the next level that you're trying to get to, that you can set your eyes not on them, but on kind of like what their realm is, right?
What I love about idolizing, mimicking, call it mentor versus mentorship. Mentorship, I would think means that they're active in your life versus a mentor could just be someone you want to be like.
Yeah.
The value of that is that you don't have to be them exactly. You could go, okay, I don't like all of this about this person. It doesn't mean I don't like the person. I don't want to mimic that part, but I really like this part. So I'm going to mimic that part. So when you said 3 to 5, I could get on board with that actually.
Right.
now that I'm understanding that a little better. And then this person, I really like this part. And then you can take those parts and make yourself a version of all of these people's best traits in one. But yes, to totally own it. And I love giving credit to these people because they absolutely changed my life. I grew up without a dad. And so I think one of the greatest gifts from that was that I got to go and choose 7 incredible men to grab the best from them and apply it to me. And literally, like, there are phases of that journey. One of the first mentors that I was consciously aware of, this man was all about family, integrity, and doing the right thing, and trained me very religiously in that space.
Yeah.
Just do the right thing. Integrity. Do the right thing even though nobody's looking. And family's first.
That's huge.
Friends are last. Partying's last. Family first. Do the right thing. And then I went and got into real estate, and I was taught, win at all costs.
Right.
So thankfully I had that first experience because this guy, is a killer, and he made a ton of money, and he's very wealthy. But did I like all of what he represented? No, but I got to learn from that. And then the next guy was like structured business only. So I got to learn discipline and how to really pay attention to the numbers and the details, because that's what this guy was about. And I could go all the way down the journey, but I think that's the beauty of mentorship, is you can take the best from that person and apply it to yourself.
Right.
But yes, I believe in mentorship. Exactly. I believe in being around good men.
Right.
I'm actually getting to know you as we sit here and talk, and I love that you and I are within 6 feet of each other, like genuinely. Yeah, I love building on this incredible group of men that I have in my life that are all thinking positively, optimistically, wanting to help others. Because how the fuck did we get here?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like God touched our foreheads and we were like, boom.
Right.
Some guy took a little extra time out of his busy day and invested it in me. And so if I can do that for so many people, and then they can do that for what my mentors don't realize that I think is really special is they don't even realize, like right now, they're all still alive and they're doing their thing right now in this moment.
Yeah.
They don't realize that what they taught me, I am teaching others.
Right.
So they are touching like 3rd, 4th tiers that they don't even know.
That's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I've learned, I've passed on to other people. So I always say, I'm just a steward of the knowledge that passes through me. Right. And that's my biggest thing, is to help other people learn what I learned, because it'd be selfish just to keep that in and guard it and not pass it on to other people that could use it too.
Totally.
So for me, like my goal with social media is to just share value. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not trying to, make a ton of money off of it right now. My goal is just to strictly, share what I've learned and hopefully help somebody going through what I went through before.
Tell me, have you been walked up to and been like, dude, I see you on social?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a few times. And, I'm not big or anything yet.
No, and I wouldn't say I am either, but it happens.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that that's like one of the most flattering, and they're pretty direct. Like these guys don't walk up and go, hey man, I saw your video, bro.
Right.
They're like, dude, hey, Josh, good to meet you. I watched that video and it really hit.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Take all the giddy fan fair out of it.
Sure.
At my core, I'm like, man, that was really cool that I fucking touched that guy through a video.
Exactly.
And that is,
and that's the beautiful thing about it, is because in person, right? How many people can we actively touch or reach or, impact in a positive way? There's a limited number, because we're finite. There's only a few people, few places that we can be at one time or in a short period of time. But online, you can share one video, you could share one post, and it could reach potentially millions of people. And you're impacting all those people, and that's why I truly believe in personal branding now.
Agreed.
I didn't before, because I didn't, wasn't exposed to, I had never met someone in person that was big on social media that was making it work for them until, the past year and a half, to where I've seen, like, hey, this guy's got the fruits, like you were talking about, in real life. And then now I see it on social media. And it's like, that's the goal right there, is to be able to share in person and social media. And like you said, meeting people that get value and inspiration and motivation from my posts and my stories and, my videos, it's the reason that I'm even still doing it.
It's a cool feeling.
It's not even for myself. Like in the beginning, yeah, I was like, oh, this video looks cool of me. I look good in that.
Yeah.
I'm sharing some cool stuff. People are gonna think I'm cool and smart. But now it's like, I don't even care what other people think. I don't care if they say negative stuff about me either. I just want to get on there and hopefully help somebody.
Yeah, the positive so outweighs the haters.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's why you get, let's call it a decently, for me at least in my social, a decent videos indecent, about 4,000. Yeah. 4,000 views. If you get one comment that's negative, that means like 3,999 people weren't triggered enough to, or interpreted it as a positive.
Right.
So yes, it's so overwhelming, the positivity, and it's so easy to get fixated on the negative. That's part of what we try to teach our clients at Galindo Media is the negative's good because it creates interaction.
Sure.
But that's a minute factor in the post that you've made.
Right.
Nobody goes, man, did you see the 3,999 people that enjoyed my post?
Yeah.
No, everybody's like, did you see that one bad comment?
Exactly. And they focus on that.
Yeah. So Taylor, we're married?
Engaged.
Yep. Tell me, what's her name?
Trini,
man, you got a lot of cool names.
Yeah.
I really like Ashton.
Yeah.
If we had another kid, I'd probably name him Ashton.
She's actually pregnant right now.
Really?
Yeah, 5 months pregnant
No
with a girl.
way. With a girl. Oh,
yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah,
boy and girl.
Yeah. We haven't officially decided on a name yet. She's leaning towards Liliana.
Okay.
So we'll have to.
That's a great name
We'll have
too.
to still negotiate on that.
What is your dynamic in the marriage?
So for me, so she's a stay-at-home mom. I took on that responsibility when we moved to Vegas. I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I know it's going to be in business, entrepreneurship. I'm going to do something sales-oriented. And I said, I can promise you that you don't have to work, right? So she stays at home. Our son, he's in, private school a few hours a day just to have the interaction and be around people. But yeah, for me, it's been tough in the beginning with our relationship because I was such a free-spirited person. I was always in the scene, entertainment, industry, club promoting, like out, nightclubs, DJs, like all this stuff. And the funny thing is when we moved to Vegas, Sin City, where, city doesn't sleep 24 hours, instead of doing what I would normally do, which was, going out every night and partying and, meeting as many people as I possibly could, I actually switched roles to, being a father, parenthood, and not going out and, focusing on getting up early, hitting the gym, doing my work daily. And that's the dynamic I have now is I switched from this party animal, wannabe rock star guy, to someone that's more focused and intentional with my time.
I love it.
So that's the blessing of being a father, right? Is that, you have not only people looking up to you, but you have, a bigger purpose than just you. So my dynamics changed completely, like I mentioned, like always just selfishly seeking attention and trying to be the best I can for myself. Now I'm being the best I can for my family and for my future daughter and my son, and to build something that they can live on too.
Sure.
So like even my son now, like it's so rewarding hearing him say, Dad, did you go help people today?
Yeah.
I want to be like you and sell things when I get older. And it's like just hearing him say those things is just it's very heartwarming.
It is. My older boy will do stuff like that. Did you sell a house today, Dad?
Yeah.
You sold a house? Tell me about it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him all the numbers.
Right.
I know it's gibberish to him, but I think it's important to at least expose him to it. We bought it for this. We bought it for this. Like when I had to explain to him the rentals, it was like a big concept to get him to understand, because it's like, I own the house and these people are borrowing it from me in exchange for money,
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
But that's good. Like you're explaining it to your son, it's beneficial for you to be able to explain it, on social media with somebody that doesn't know anything about real estate. You having to tone it down and explain it in layman's terms makes it easier for you to tell the story to other people too.
Yeah. So does the wife support you in all of your ambitions?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. She supported me, you know,
and believed in you clearly.
Yeah. I came from nothing. When we first met in LA, I was like kind of apartment hopping, like didn't even really have my own place to stay at the time. Was just floating around. But she saw something in me, you know, and she stuck with me through every venture that I've done and tried and failed. I've started multiple businesses that have failed. Each one, she's believed in me 100%.
That's
and
cool.
It's hard to find someone like that that's loyal and supportive. You know, I did a few network marketing things that didn't work out at all, right? And she was there by my side, like supporting me, showing up to the events. And, you know, I'm just glad that now I'm finally able to start, you know, rewarding her for being there for me.
So cool.
Because that's the biggest part, you know. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to go out and do what I do under the stress I'm under and the pressure I'm under without having that backbone support system in place to where I come home and, you know, every day it's like, you know, thank you for what you do.
Totally,
you go,
man.
Obviously not every day she's like
no.
super grateful, yeah. But it's the moments where she's like, you know, I do understand how hard you work for us. I really appreciate it. So that's just rewarding. That's powerful. For me. Yeah.
Let's talk about the opposite.
Yep.
I think what allows you to continue to pursue and persevere and push and fight and go out there and endure the pain is when you come home, it's a peaceful environment. And I'm kind of speaking for myself here, but I think that's what I took away from what you just said, is it's a peaceful environment full of support and love and appreciation. Now let's reverse that. You know, a lot of these young cats will go out and try to build something and do something special, and then they come home and get fucking ridiculed by their lady. Right. It's like you're just getting your balls kicked in on both sides of the fence. And I think it's so important because there was a time when I knew Crystal. A lot of people think Crystal came into my life when I had money. Complete opposite. Mm-hmm. Crystal came into my life when I remember at the edge of my couch, I had this red IKEA couch. I'm sitting on the end of the sectional and she's sitting on the left side. And I look at my bank account and it was in bright red, Bank of America, minus $161. Yep. And I looked over at her and I'm like, fuck, like I'm tapped. Yeah. Like I am done. That was it. Like I didn't have any more money. And all my lines of credit were pulled on. And I don't even remember how I got myself out of that situation, but I did. But nonetheless, that was the bottom of me. And she was there at that moment and has been there ever since. Exactly. It's crucial, man. It is crucial. And it's cool to tell that story to make sure that she gets the credit that she deserves, like you just did with your wife or with your fiance. Because these women deserve that credit for being there for us and supporting us. And it's crucial what you said too, because there is a lot of people now that, you know, they're going out, they're busting their ass every day, you know, working on their vision, on their goals, and then they come home and get beat up because of what society, you know, puts out there now. You know, everything online you see with, you know, these movements where, you know, they're beating down the man sometimes, you know, not all the time, but sometimes they are, and it's a lot of pressure. Yeah. You know, and it can build up and it can really deter a lot of people from realizing their potential because they don't get the praise and the gratitudes and the thank yous, and, you know, they don't get that appreciation. I think the man needs that. Of course. And I'm vocal about it, and I'm cool with it. And if people want to hate on me for it, it's fine. The alpha male role and the feminine female role has gotten us thousands of years in the right direction. Exactly. So clearly the results, speaking of results, works. Sure. And it doesn't mean anything. My mom worked her whole life. Yeah. I'm not saying females shouldn't work at all. I think women should do whatever creates fulfillment for them. Exactly. If my wife taking Thursdays off and working 4 days a week and dropping the kids off and picking them up every day. So my point is that she doesn't work a 40-hour a week job. Sure. Maybe even she probably does, but you know, you get my point. Right. Because the fulfillment comes from taking the kids to school, picking the kids up, having a full day off with just the youngest. And that's always been our model. If that creates fulfillment for her and having a little bit of a job here and there and working on the business, Good for her.
Exactly.
If she came to me and said, Josh, I never want to go back to Glenna Group Real Estate. I just want to spend time with the kids. I would look at her. Will that create fulfillment for you? Because my concern is if it doesn't create fulfillment, you're going to be a basket case within 6 months. So, and if she looked back and says, no, I know that that would create fulfillment, and I'll be consciously aware that in the event that it's not creating fulfillment, then I'll go and switch gears. I would say I'll support you in whatever it is. And that's where I think these women that stay home with the kids should also be honored, because if it's creating fulfillment for them, I know it's creating fulfillment for you, that you are capable of putting your family in a position to be focused on family.
Right.
Like, what a beautiful thing as a man. And your wife is experiencing full fulfillment through life. You can't get a better scenario.
Yeah.
And that's not always encouraged. And the way that I just explained that is how it should be explained. Instead, it's like the woman should be out there working.
Right.
And it's like, whoa, what if that doesn't create fulfillment for the husband or the wife? That's just what society's saying, you know? And I think that was kind of the direction that I think you we're touching on a little bit there, but just fully elaborated.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you know, she still goes. She does hair and makeup. She's a hairstylist, so
there you go.
She still goes like one day a week.
Yeah.
You know, Fridays, that's her days. She goes and chats with all the girls at the boutique salon, and you know, that's her thing.
Great
she
dynamic.
Says she would do hair and makeup for free because it fulfills her, right?
Sure.
So that's the thing. You know, not only does she love being at home and being with the kid and everything like that, but she also loves helping other people with her craft, which is doing hair, doing makeup, you know, helping other people look beautiful, right? So that's her fulfilling part too, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have that.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to have that.
So I think like she'll always have like that one day, like, you know, she doesn't have to be there. She doesn't need to be there, but she wants to be there, right? And for me, like I want her to have that too. You know?
I love that. Well, good for you. What are you trying to accomplish? What's your next move? Let's make sure that you get the credit you deserve in your business world, so people can understand how you could be of value to them.
Yep.
Give yourself the best plug that you can. A little breakdown on what you're accomplishing, what you know.
Yeah. So for me this year, you know, obviously continue to grow in solar. The industry.
Name of the solar company again?
Clean Energy Pros.
Okay.
Correct. Yep. So keep growing that. You know, solar's really taken off nationwide. So my goal is to branch off. I've already got a few branches now, but really to take it bigger and longer for the long haul. It's still a new industry, so it's still under-regulated. So there's still a lot of power moves to be made in the industry. Keep doing that, and also real estate investing. You know, get more involved with that. Learn from guys like you, other people that I'm in communities with as well. And you know, already have some properties now that I'm working on, and just to do more flips and invest in long-term properties too. That's my other goal. But really my main focus this year is marketing. I want to get better at digital marketing, not only for myself, but for businesses that I've created. So my goal is to continue to add value daily, continue to share my story, continue to help other people, you know, that are struggling or don't really have a vision or a goal, kind of help them create a vision or a goal for themselves. I really want to help people come in to sales or whatever, you know, whatever connection we have, come into that industry and really succeed.
Love it.
So my goal is to help other people succeed more this year, but also, you know, just keep building the personal brand. You know, I want to create free value for people, whether it's, you know, ebooks that I'm putting together now, online courses that are going to be free, just stuff that can add value to people where, you know, they see me online and they know, okay, that guy helped me, you know, with this communication skill set, with this influence, with this persuasion, like with this strategy, whatever it may be. I want to help people just become better people.
What's the social plug?
Real Taylor Melton. So I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And it's Real Taylor Melton on all of those, yeah.
Okay, I want to end it with one thing, and I've been doing this. Tell me about your watch.
Yeah.
Tell me why you bought it, if you had a justification for why you bought it, and what is it? What did you pay for it, and what is it worth today?
Okay, so this is the Rolex. This is the Batgirl because of the Jubilee band.
Yeah.
So it's,
I love the little education. Did you know that, Luis?
Yeah. So it's a little different. I bought it for $17. It's a 2022, so it's not brand new. But right now, I think it's at like 19.5.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
That's funny because I have a few watches that I bought right and can brag about. I bought this one for this, and now it's worth this.
Right.
This one, I think this is a 2015 Sea Dweller.
Nice.
Deep sea. Nope. Yeah, Sea Dweller. Thank you. And I bought it, I think, for 14, and I think it's probably trading for between 11 and 13.
Sure,
so I didn't
go.
win massively on this one, but I love this watch. I love that watch.
Yeah. How many do you have?
I don't have a lot. People think I have a lot. I don't have a lot. I have an AP Royal Oak Navy.
Okay.
Offshore. That one. Yeah, I have a story behind each one, which I won't go into that. But I have that one. I have the Cartier Roadster XL.
Oh.
That one was always a dream to own. And that one, thankfully, I didn't buy it when it was hot because it was $9,000. I ended up buying it for $4,000. And then I have a Daytona, which I ripped because I bought it a long time ago. And then this one, so $4,000.
There you go.
Yeah, $4,000. But I love watches. I think they're fun.
They each have a story too.
And they do. They each have a story.
Yeah.
So do you have a story behind that one?
Well,
Why you went and bought it?
This was my first Rolex.
So
yeah.
But what monumental moment or not? Just was there like
so
I had a great
like,
year, great month?
I always wanted, like, when I was researching Rolexes, I always wanted a gold, right? Presidential, gold band, Datejust, something similar to that. But then, I saw everyone kind of getting those as their first, and I kind of like to be a little different.
Sure.
So I saw one of my good friends had this for sale. He kind of like wholesaling real estate. He kind of wholesales watches.
Sure.
So he had one come across without the band, and I was like, oh man, I really like the face. I like the dial. I like how it looks with the black and the blue. So I was like, I really wanted it, but I didn't like the band. And then I saw this one come up, and I'm like, okay,
that's the one.
That's the one. So it just clicked, man. And for me, I'll probably keep it for a while. My goal is to, keep buying more assets, right?
I agree.
I want to do more watches, more things that have value, right? And that's the thing too. It's like it's a conversation starter.
Absolutely.
Anywhere you go, it's not because I want to flex. I could buy tons of jewelry. I don't wear that much jewelry, but it's a conversation starter. Just like you asked me, what's the story?
Totally.
So I love it, man.
I've had a lot of conversations just for
my goal is to buy more and more. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's a great
appreciate
piece.
It.
All right, that'll do it for us.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, man. Thank you. What a great combo.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Cool. Let's get it.